We've got the Fed minutes coming out, a bunch of government data that I don't think is coming out today due to all these asterisks there. We've got one Fed speaker today, Michael Barr, at 10:30 a.m. Those things will likely move the market a little bit here, especially those Fed minutes tomorrow. So pay attention to that, 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. The Fed minutes drop, that'll be huge. Whales look to be buying back into Bitcoin. Maybe we'll see. It could all just be MicroStrategy. We'll look at that real quick. And Bitcoin fell under $90,000. When will the bleeding stop? We'll take a look at all that stuff and more. But before we get going, check out the channel memberships, especially that stalagmite level where you get the real-time trade posts and members-only videos, and you see how I am navigating this most difficult time in honestly not just crypto, but in many assets. Anyways, let's get going. All right, so Bitcoin fell under $90,000. We got some whales buying. So basically, while it's holding over 1,000 Bitcoin, they increased in since late October to just a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. So there's a couple of whales now. There's not that many whales, so that could be significant. We'll see. We got smallholder wallets dropped to a yearly low in late October. So that's a lot of retail. It's you and I giving up there. And then Bitcoin fell underneath $90,000, triggering a fear and greed index of extreme fear down at 11. It fell pretty hard. We're in extreme fear on stocks as well, which a lot of people say, yeah, extreme fear is the extreme buy zone, but you gotta wait until the bleeding is over and look for some sort of structure saying, okay, we can turn around now. If you're just buying a straight line down, it might continue in that direction a little bit longer. So we want to see it come into some support. We want to see it build something down there. Anyways, we've got big whales like MicroStrategy. They bought 8,000 Bitcoin here for about $102,000 on Monday, which, I mean, it's down a lot since then. But now he's always saying he's buying the top, so that could be the big whale that came in. We'll see. Anyways, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin came down as low as 89,200 yesterday. Now we are getting a little bit of a push up now. We're getting a little bit of a push up now. If I go to the weekly, this is where I like to look. The weekly, we lost the weekly 50. That sucks. We lost the weekly 50 moving average, and we have a candle well away from it. Okay, that's quite bad. Now we do know two things. Bear markets tend to end at or near the 200-week moving average, currently at $56,000. It might be a lot higher by the time we touch it. Okay, there's that. The next thing that I'd like to say is we are still looking at higher highs and higher lows on a weekly time frame, right? We came up, we made a high, made a low there, made a higher high, made a higher low, made a higher high, made a higher low, made a higher high. And if we turn around anywhere before this low down here at about, what is that? We'll look at that in a second, but anywhere above that low, we turn around, we are still in bullish structure and we could go higher. Okay. And that level looks like about $75,000. So if we turn around anywhere above $75,000, we could see this thing go back up above $126,000, tap somewhere around 130, and we'll see. But we'll see. So right now, what I'm looking for is a counter trend bounce, because like we're in a bit of a downtrend right now. We're in a bit of a downtrend from this peak, anyways. Overall, we're in an uptrend on the weekly, but on, like, if you look at the daily, yeah, it's looking pretty dire. Okay. We're making bear flag after bear flag after bear flag, right? So it's like we had a bear flag, a bear flag, a bear flag, and another like little bear flag. We might push a little lower, get another bear flag, and push a little lower still into the 80s, 70s. And what am I looking at to the upside? Well, to the upside, I'm looking right here, about 109 to about 115, and that little section there on this volume profile here, that little spike right there. I'm looking around there. Anytime once we break that trend line that I just drew there, which currently would be a price of about like 96, 97,000, which is going to be that 20-day moving average. Once we break that, yeah, we're likely going to hit that. Now, that's a bit late if you want to come to the party and actually catch any moves. So I would draw another trend line about right above all those. Oops. Right above these here, right? and I'd be looking for a move up to that 200-week moving average, again 109, and that would break somewhere around like 91, 92. Okay, so that's what I'd be looking at for Bitcoin right now. I'm looking for some kind of structure here. I'd like to see it get above the 9, maybe on a lower time frame even. I could even look at like a 4-hour or a 2-hour. Like getting above the 20 on the 4-hour, I'd be looking for a move up to about 100, maybe even 106 from there. And then I would dump my bags there and wait for it to break that 200 on an 2 or 4 hour time frame, and wait and see what it does, because it might just roll over from there. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. What I'm looking for. Solana caught a bid. Ethereum's catching a bit of a bid. We'll see. We'll see what it does. Bitcoin miners, those are suffering quite badly. We're seeing something like Hive is down 3. It was up 7% yesterday. Soluna ended the day up 7%, but we're down in pre-market right now. Let me come here. CleanSpark, yeah, down. Mara's, those two have just been getting absolutely obliterated. ARBK was down 8% yesterday. It's down 2% again. This morning, a pre-market Can was down 4% yesterday. It's up 6% this morning. Everything else looks like it's down except Corsi warrants. So yeah, these things are going to suffer until they stop, right? It's going to suffer until it stops. MSTR, if you look at MSTR, all right, look at this. So MSTR is kind of a big nasty cup right now. I'll draw it for you real quick. We got this big cup right there, and if we come up, we can come up as high as about 295, 300, and then we might just puke out further down from there. So pay attention to that. That could sneak up on you. Like we can get that counter trend bounce where it goes all the way up to 300, 330. Let me bring out the ruler so we can see the exact number of how far we think this might go. So if we go to there, to that highest point there, okay, so we'd be looking at about 320-ish or so that it could go back up to, and then if it fails there, we'd be looking at it coming all the way back down to 193, push possibly even down to like the low 100s on MicroStrategy. BMNR, similar kind of situation right now. And honestly, yeah, this one's also looking kind of bad. I'm a little more leaning towards Ethereum since it's got that institutional buy. It's got that like use case for institutions. They can use it. But we also got that cup, and if it comes up to the 50 here at about $49, it could fail to the downside from there dramatically as well. So pay attention for that as well. 49 is really that trigger point. If we get above that, all good, all great. If we get to 49 and we struggle right here, well, then BMNR is probably going to come back down to 30, maybe even down to like $15. But I am a little more optimistic about Ethereum just because Hood is already using it. SoFi is going to tokenize as well and start using it. Those two will be the test bed for the bigger boys. And once they're like, okay, this is, functional enough for us, they'll dive in as well. And they'll dive in with significantly larger size, and that will drive Ethereum higher, which will drive BMNR higher. And that's that. Whereas Bitcoin really just has that store value case. It doesn't have a use case really other than like being able to move large sums more cheaply than if you were to move several tons of gold. It's really its only use case at this point. It was built for the rich. It was always built for the rich. It wasn't for you and I. Basically, that's my opinion of Bitcoin. And the fact that we got a piece of it was this astonishing, amazing thing where the peasants got their day in the sun, and that day may be coming to a close now. All right. Anyways. Whole thing to unpack there. We're not going to go into it. So what am I looking at right now going forward? One, I want to watch Meta. Why am I watching Meta? Meta had a pretty big crash, and I think anytime you get a Mag 7 underneath the 200-day moving average, it is important to pay attention. And we're looking for signs that it's going to turn around. Like right now, it's starting to slow down. We got a descending channel. What do we know about descending channels? Those of you that have been here for a while, descending channels tend to break to the upside, right? They tend to break to the upside. So I've got this descending channel that I'm watching right here on Meta. It already broke one of these descending channels, right? And let me get rid of it because I don't really need it anymore. Okay. We've got this descending channel. Once it breaks, which would be the 9-day moving average here. Once we get above the 9-day moving average, it'll probably move up to the 20, which will catch us around 650, maybe even to the 200, which will catch us at 675. Currently, we're at $600. That would be a $75 per share move on Meta. All it's going to take is Zuckerberg to say, hey, we're making money with AI, or refocus, just like what happened when they were getting into the metaverse, and everyone was like, you're spending too much money, we're pulling our shares, and it dove, went under $100, and then not 2 years later, we're we're up over, we're almost $800 a share on this thing. So Meta really can move when it starts to move, when it starts to refocus. The other one I'm looking at, Tesla. I'm very interested in their energy business. I'm very interested in their robot business. I'm very interested in the self-driving cars. Okay, all that's very exciting. Tesla is a bit of more of a wild card. But we've also got a lead man with a serious drive to get his $1 trillion payday, and that requires Tesla to be at an $8 trillion or $8.5 or something $1 trillion market cap, currently at 1.36. So we're looking to 6-7x this company here in the next 10 years for him to get his payday. So he's very motivated to do that. I'm also looking at Amazon, especially as we go into the holiday season. We're coming up on the 50-day moving average. We bounced there, which it looks like we might want to do here. I'd be looking at Amazon to try to make a run back for those highs around 250, 260. Google, I like Google a lot. I love Google right now. I'm really looking at it to either be above 290 to push 300 or come back down to the 20-day moving average around 276.25-ish and drive higher from there. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. That's that. Apple, I'm looking for a move to 300, to be honest. I think Apple, now this could be a double top right here, especially if we close underneath 266.14. We close under that, yeah, we're going to drop down to about 250, 254. But if we can push back up, yeah, 300 is on the cards for Apple at some point here in the near future. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm kind of sticking away from the more high beta plays, the more dangerous plays. I'm looking for things that are making money, things that are going to be a little slower growth right now. And we can also look at things like healthcare. Healthcare has been very interesting. Like this is the ETF for healthcare. I was talking about in Stalagmite when it was down here at about 137. Now it's up at 153, which is about the area I was targeting. So I'd need to see it go a little bit higher. Once it's above like where it is right now, like, and if it holds here a little bit more or it goes above 153, yeah, I'm looking for a move up to about 160 on this guy as well. So, and that is being driven not by LLY, honestly. Eli Lilly, that's pushing higher and higher and higher. We're looking like MRK, Merck, that's pushing higher and higher and higher. Pfizer has been interesting. Yeah, it looks like it came above its little base here. Yeah, let me turn off all things. Hide all. So it came above its little base here. All right, we have that little base. We shot above it. We're testing it from above. If we can bounce here, we can push back up to that high around 28. If we can take out that 28, we can push to about that $30, $31 on Pfizer. So Pfizer's interesting as well. Just things to think about. Of course, nothing I say is financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. You got to do your own research, come to your own conclusions, because at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own risk, and it is your responsibility to protect your capital. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Go ahead and smash that like button. Comment down below what you're investing in, what you're still holding from crypto, if you're looking to catch a final swing or not, if it's over for you entirely. What other stocks are you trading now? Subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're so close to 10,000 subscribers. Get us there. I want to see it before the end of the year. Check out the channel memberships. We got some great stuff going on in there, especially in the Stalagmite level where you get the real-time trade posts and members only videos. And with that said, have a profitable day.